Wait,
I hate him.
I'm making my little.
It is impossible for you to just start.
I'm making my like one.
Welcome back to Banter FC, the home of American ball knowledge. I'm William Paschall. We got Reeves, George. We got special guest Brendan Regan over there.
Regan.
Wow.
Shoot.
Not a
Brendan Regan.
Right back.
It's okay. Brendan, you want to tell us a little about yourself? A little 20-second spiel. Yeah, 20-second spiel. Who you are?
Fun fact.
I'm a teammate of George and Reeves on the soccer team for Christ School, our beloved Greenies. Yeah, I'm a senior and
he's really humble. He's good at soccer. He plays center back. He made all tournament, all conference. He's good at soccer. He's a Chelsea fan. And so now he's here with us today. And we're going to be talking about VAR officiating, struggles on his club, United, his club, Chelsea. I mean, your club's not really struggling. You're in Europa League, but
we got robbed one game, though.
One game.
So.
And then we're going to do some bringing back the overreaction or not. So welcome back to Banter FC. Here we go.
I do want to say shout out my man Dan James from Liverpool. I hope you're watching, man. We love you. We all love you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. So how was the game for y'all this weekend?
exactly what I expected from a Tottenham-Chelsea game. Exactly what I expected. Now, 5 goals overturned by VAR is the most ridiculous example, and just I'd say the worst display of VAR officiating. Like I'm gonna be honest, the equalizer by Eric Dyer, they called it off.
I thought it was.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. It's the point is that game had was it almost 20 minutes of just outright VAR officiating reviews that just
stoppage time.
kills any momentum in the game for either team. I mean, there was so much to break down from it. I mean, what was y'all's?
Is that the worst hat trick in Premier League history?
Absolutely. That is worse than a 2 penalty hat trick.
The funniest part about all of it is that everyone agreed. Like once it made like the 4-3-3 or like the Prem Instagram, like everyone agreed that was like that's the worst hat trick ever.
Yeah.
I mean, did y'all see the stat? So his expected goals was higher than with like 3.4. So he underperformed what he was expected to score. Expected 3.4 goals.
Well, even so, I mean, XG is great, and I still feel like he had a higher XG than what was shown in that game.
Probably
the amount
5.
of times we were through, and you're like, oh, it's a 3-on-1. It's a 3-on-1 with 3 professional soccer players. It is a practice drill.
It is.
And we just...
It's a basketball 3-man weave. Like you just have to pass it and then shoot.
There's always someone with an easy finish.
It was ridiculous. The amount of missed chances, and I was shocked. And but that's a very consistent thing with Chelsea, especially over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
In our struggles to find a striker, but I don't think the striker itself is our main issue. But I mean, I think
you don't think the strikers.
I don't think it's our strikers, but that's a whole nother talk.
That's fair. That's fair. Like I have him in fantasy, and I'm trying to sell high now because I know he's not going to score another hat trick for. And I was so high on Nico Jackson before this year. I was so high on Chelsea.
Yeah, a little background info there. Like so, I drafted. Nico
We're on
Jackson.
the fantasy league.
So we have a little Prem league. I drafted Nico Jackson, and then everyone knows that George really wanted him. And Brendan, when George really wanted him, he freaked out when I got him. So about like 3 weeks in, I was like, I'm gonna give it back to George. George still thought like he could.
He's
do
had
something.
4 goals since then. Yeah.
So he had like 1 goal before that.
One goal like 3 weeks ago, and then the hat trick today. But it's been abysmal. And the fact that the game was competitive until the 90th. Like, would you disagree?
Tottenham
with
was outplaying us.
Yeah, with 9 men.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
all right, that's good.
They were outplaying us. Son bottled a chance in the dire moments of the game. I mean, that he should be slotting that 9 out of 10 times.
And he had an early goal call back, did he not?
He did.
Yeah.
And then Dyer's.
You
as
name
well.
a player.
I mean, they had
goal called back.
Like they had chance after chance. And why are we giving them multiple set pieces when we are up 2 men defending? Why are we fouling?
Gusto got subbed on just to get a yellow card in 5 minutes and give him like 5.
It was
mental stability.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
Watch this be pressed.
also, the red cards in the game that were given out, Romero's.
He's a different breed.
I haven't. No, listen, Romero.
that was rough.
I remember when he was at Atalanta, he won Serie A Defensive Player of the Year. He was good when he made the transfer to Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's just a mess since he's come to Tottenham.
Yeah.
I know he's passionate, he's this, that, but he's not good enough. I really don't think he is to be put in any sort of real, the best center backs in the Prem, best center backs.
Everyone
in the world
knows that,
conversations.
though.
I know.
Yeah,
And I don't,
It's because
a lot of people
4
were,
goals and like 2 assists in the first match week, so everyone was high on him.
and well, then this is the thing. Obviously, his discipline is not there at all. And his tackle, so he got away with one
He got ball
earlier. He did, and I'll talk about that being a center back. But he got away with one earlier where he just killed a guy in the box off ball, and they let it go. They went to VAR and they let it go.
Yeah.
Why was that not given a yellow, at least a yellow or red? I don't know. And now his tackle in the box, is that a red? No. In my opinion.
Yeah.
I hate that. Sometimes you just have to go studs up. Sometimes it's a bang, bang play. Whatever.
Fair enough.
But
Fair.
if you want to make the case, he should get a yellow and it should be a pen. Absolutely. He did fly in hard, studs up. He was in a bad position. Fair. I think a yellow and a pen, but I think he should have got a yellow from his earlier tackle. So I think he should have been sent
The
off.
red was
regardless.
inevitable.
I think this
so.
goes into
Yeah,
like
I think
the,
so.
the games in league as a whole. The amount of red cards for yellow card like activities and fouls
He's ridiculous.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like, watching like McAllister. That dude is targeted every game.
Mhm.
Like, there's guys that are getting straight red for like little like just yellow card and play on like
Happens to
foul.
Casemiro all the time.
What? No, he's different. He's different. He's a red every time. There's no.
I mean, when you
That is Patrick Beverly of soccer.
even a few years ago, when you pull up highlights or whatever, you're looking on Google at the score before we all have Instagram and 433, and we're looking at the scores and we see, there was a red card. What happened?
Yeah.
It's going to be something crazy. And now we're looking at it and it was like, there was a good slide tackle. We look back and he hit the ball and then foot went into him. And like Pogba had some against, was it Arsenal? Was it 2 years ago? Where I remember like all ball slide tackle and his feet are continuing because he can't stop his body.
Yeah.
And it goes into somebody. Like, what are we serious?
And
Are we serious?
And the frustrating part is like the game gets stopped for a VAR check for so many things just for the call to stay the same. It's just, that's another problem. Like if you tie the two things in, we're stopping the game for stuff that's like for looking from the TV that like quick calls and it just takes 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just either make the same call or they make the wrong call.
And
you're sitting there and you're like, so they just checked it like 6 to 8 minutes and they still made what we think is the wrong call.
yeah. And you see every single fan base, saying there's an agenda against them or whatever, but it's really just how incredibly inconsistent VAR is. I don't believe there's an agenda against any team. It's just how bad the officiating has become. And I don't understand why, with technology being as advanced as it is today and with other leagues really not struggling with it nearly as much as the Prem. I mean, the Bundesliga VAR is a lot more efficient. Yeah. And so I don't understand if it's a technological problem, if it's a VAR, if it's a just human error. I don't understand.
It's supposed to
what the
negate
issue
the
is.
human error.
I think the issue in part, and I'm going to bring this over to the NFL, which I know, they're talking about the NFL, whatever. The NFL has a atrocious refereeing issue, as do most American sports over the last 5 years. And one of the big issues is the actual ego of the referees, where a lot of times they'll make certain calls and it'll go to review and they made the wrong call initially. It's blatant to every viewer. It happens all the time in the Prem and they just won't overturn it. And especially, like you said, British refs, British people, and a lot of the British culture, there's a lot of pride. There is not a whole lot of humility. And in terms of like, they know they're going to get hounded at for mistakes and all this stuff. So they kind of are holding their head high. Like, I made that call. I'm going to keep it, like kind of screw you guys. When everywhere else they admit, oh yeah, that was my bad. Quickly look
There's
at it.
ego
done.
to it.
Instead of like, or not even going over to check certain calls.
True.
Like, there'll be blatant ones and you'll be like, oh, there you go, pen. And it won't even get checked. And then they'll be checking for the most minuscule things other times.
Irrelevant.
And
things,
it doesn't make sense. And it's simply the amount of times we have been watching games and you look at something that is so unbelievable, undeniable, and just obvious of a foul or not. and it is wrong. It is just, I don't understand how that's possible.
Are prim refs, is that their full-time job? Because I know that NFL, that's the thing, is that NFL refs are part-time. They're not full-time. And so that's part of like the controversy. Many of them have jobs outside of officiating.
I never knew that.
But I just didn't know what it was.
No, I'm almost positive they're full-time.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense with playing games, pretty much week
promotion
round.
relegation for refs now.
Yeah, that's something. Anthony Taylor, so pretty controversial man, makes bad calls pretty consistently, and so he gets essentially relegated from the Prem as a referee, which makes absolutely no sense to me. He's sent to the championship, and I'm just thinking, I would be furious as a championship player. This guy has clearly demonstrated that he's not capable of making the correct calls consistently. So why do we have to deal with him? It almost feels like a punishment. So I don't understand why you would punish the championship level side when the ref has clearly demonstrated that he is not capable. And he's been promoted. I mean, this says right here, he's been reinstated in the Premier League for the Man City versus Chelsea game this upcoming weekend. Which yes, I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
You guys know how Anthony Taylor is with Chelsea. Well, I can forecast the game now. What's going to happen? I'm going to put at least
a little 1-0 loss.
I'm going to do 2 bad VAR calls. I mean, bad howlers, as in will go viral howlers.
That's fair.
At least 1, but I think it will be 2 really, really bad VAR calls that will bring.
What's crazy about what you said, like NBA, for example, like they just get fired. Like they, like you know, what I'm saying?
It's also cheating in the NBA. Like it is. It's outright like refs have
like
gotten
they literally get fired and fined.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Like should that be a system in the Premier League?
I mean, it's like a suspension or something.
Held more accountable.
Demoting him.
Because I mean, just looking at the timeline for Anthony Taylor, November 3rd, he was demoted to the championship after awarding a controversial penalty in the Wolves Newcastle
and then casually get the referee officiate like a really big game.
Yeah.
Really crucial game.
So 4 days later, November 7th, he's promoted back to the Premier League.
He learned his lesson, dude. Like,
I mean, he wasn't really even better in the championship. He made controversial calls then.
There was one game
as well.
Yes. Okay, I want to play devil's advocate. I might get hate, but you say that Anthony Taylor's an on-field ref, so he's going to be at least 1 or 2 VAR calls. And what we said about like the pride of the British people and why that might change their willingness to overturn calls, it is other people, not the on-field ref, who may ultimately makes the decision. I understand like the PGMO, the refereeing group as a whole probably wants to gain credibility and not overturn calls, but like
and fair, but a lot of times they do often straight up go over to watch the review box and make the choice right there. And it's just ridiculous. And Anthony Taylor is notoriously terrible, especially with Chelsea. And, obviously agendas. I agree with you generally that it's less so agendas. It's more so bad refereeing overall. But Anthony Taylor is ridiculous. So, I don't know. Post-game interviews has been suggested by our one of our cameramen, and that's a great idea.
Have post-game interview. Dude, these
well done,
classics.
Shout
Can
out.
you imagine? Can you imagine after the World Cup final, like just
having to face the entire globe and defend an atrocious decision you made?
Like they just cut they go from the booth and they just cut right to the ref. And they're like, now we have the ref post-game interview.
Would you rather have the 20 minutes of added time? And I feel like VAR actually in the Chelsea-Tottenham game did a generally good job. But would you rather have that extra 20-minute process and maybe sometimes it's good, sometimes it's just utter horrible? Or would you just let the boys play? There's a couple of bad calls, but you just have to live with it. Like in a way,
you just have to find a balance.
But the thing is, there is no balance because if you're going to review only certain things but not other things, then that's a whole nother issue of its own, which again is an issue in American football. Oh, pass interference, that's not reviewable. Yeah. But everything else you can challenge and all this stuff. Yeah. So it's like you create that.
And that's the biggest penalty in the game right there.
And again,
40, 50-yard penalties.
After they made it reviewable, right? Because they made it reviewable after the infamous Saints game.
Yeah, Saints-Rams game.
They made it reviewable. Then after 2 seasons, they took it away from being reviewable because there was such a small percentage of them being overturned because the refs just wouldn't admit it. Like a lot of them, they were terrible and they wouldn't get overturned. And it was just a pride thing. So I don't know because it's interesting when you watch a lot of old games back. You'll be watching classic 2000s games, 90s games, whatever. And multiple times a game, you're like, oh my gosh, that should have been a pen. oh my gosh, that was totally outside that goal.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you factor those in, I mean, the history of the game changes so much, but
Unreal,
that's also
man.
another thing is it's kind of just like, it is what it is. That's what 90% of leagues in football is growing up. Yeah. You get screwed over with a bad call in a playoff game.
Nothing you do about it.
You live with it. Everyone experiences that except for the top small percent of footballers. And it's clearly not working. So I think generally it should be taken away.
I realized something like watching the Son's goal that got overturned and the margins, because he got a goal overturned, right?
Yes.
Yeah, watching the margins that he was offsides. Like I saw him sprint, like delay his run, then go again. And I'm almost thinking in my mind, like as a top level player, do you almost have to change your game like 1 or 2% to like adjust for like that detail of like in a high school soccer game, like we're playing, we're not concerned if we're a foot offsides. We're concerned if we're 10 feet offsides because we know those margins won't be noticed. But if we're in the Premier League, like I'm going to start farther back as I know it. And it's even, I feel like alternating.
Yeah, when you just watch games, like it's unbelievable how you even stay on side. Like seriously,
It's just
like
skill.
the timing, especially like a ball from like a wing back or just like a left back, when anything like, just a 40-yard, 50-yard ball, how you time that and stay on side.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's just that's all it is timing. Those like slip balls, where you went to like a 10 and you played it one touch to like a forward running in. When you see the goal that happened, that person's almost 3 yards behind them. And then they ran on because the guy was just standing still. If we were on the same line and you didn't move, like I'm offside. Like that's just how it works.
Yeah.
Like especially like being a striker where you're in the defender's pocket. You're right here. The ball goes and you run. Like your bodies are in line.
Yeah.
It's just your arms move out.
Because the guy was standing. That's one thing. Like
as
you
you're
have
getting
to
your
be.
step,
You have to
it's
be
ridiculous.
a couple yards away when you make that run.
Yeah.
But as long as you caught him off
yourself
guard,
that
you
room.
should win the ball.
That's true.
True. I think quickly, like what you said about old games, like, and it's just any sport. It is what it is. No one's perfect, and that it is human error. We have humans refereeing and officiating things. There's no robot out there. The whole part about the VAR was that it was like we are so far like technologically advanced that like we're gonna start having perfect games. It was like the mindset. Like we're gonna start officiating perfectly. And so why it's like backfiring so bad, it's almost like what you were saying, just go back to, they're not these long checks just for us to still be mad and still be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you just live with it. Like go back and you didn't make a call, you didn't check it and you live with it. And one week your team got screwed and the next week you got lucky. Like
That's just football.
yeah.
I mean, that's
just football and that's just any sport.
Yep.
But and then the problem is it's just in this sport right now in general, this is the only sport where it's just like, oh my, like the only thing that has this unbelievable like review and that everyone's still getting like so frustrated about.
Yeah.
Speaking of being mad and frustrated, life as a United fan has not been good. Life as a Chelsea fan has probably not been good.
No.
I feel like we need to address that. I mean, my opinions are biased as a United fan. Honestly, just the roller coaster of emotions that has gone on with me.
George.
The roller coaster of emotions that has gone on with me. Last season, Ten Hag brought in hope. We're gonna have a rebuilding year, and we're gonna do good.
Brought in a whole bunch of
last-
useless.
Should have known better.
Last year, it was a good season. It was a good season. Third, a trophy. It was a
say it
good
wasn't
season.
a
You can't argue it wasn't for a first season of the new manager.
Trophy
It was
On
a
the
good
surface.
season.
On the surface.
Yeah.
the
Yes.
surface.
When you dig deep, you realize there are some things falling apart.
Deep.
But
Yes.
but this season, so you're thinking, okay, we're gonna build on that. We're in the Champions League this year. We're gonna
For another week.
we're gonna move further along. We're gonna do well in the Prem,
Man
maybe
City,
win another
real.
trophy. But it's kind of falling apart, and just with whole player Ten Hag relations, with Sancho, I think that's a big thing that was big probably like a month ago. It hasn't really been talked about recently, but just overall controversies within the club that go so much further than just the players and the tactics.
It's
It's just the club as a whole is just
Yeah. Like
just- I can't even find the right word.
I
for
still
it.
hear Manchester United, and like there's still, even though recently shambles obviously, but it still holds the weight. Like it's still Manchester United, one if not the most historic clubs in the world. But Like the fact that we just don't talk about the fact that there's this $100 million player who just casually is getting kicked from a WhatsApp group chat that just broke like an hour ago. And like,
Are we serious?
Yeah, no, he got kicked from the group chat. I checked that right before I recorded.
Wow.
But like,
I'm hearing this for the first time.
Wait, hold on. Is this like what do you know about? Is this like a player group chat or like
it's
a team?
the team WhatsApp group chat. It's not the player one.
So he gets booted.
He got, I don't know, it didn't say by who. The other report didn't say by who. But it's just, there's so many
Someone got pissed.
players. It's just like, what's happening?
It's
rough. I'm
it's
sorry.
not like this is okay. I like the idea of saying no player is bigger than the club. I like the idea. I like holding immature players accountable.
What did he do?
Why are we, paying this guy $250,000 a week? That is a great question. The financial decisions at Manchester United are very poor.
Yeah, like,
And then if you flip that, same thing goes for Chelsea.
My issue was watching us. So when we came out of our Conte era, and we were incredible, right? Antonio Conte, and he was a great manager. He brought in his own unique things. He was harsh, but he was passionate, led us to success.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had the down years with Mauricio Sarri. And then we were a little hazy there. And then Lampard as well, where 2019 through 2021, we were trash. We were pretty trash. And again, we thought we were trash back then, but in accordance to how bad we've been the last 2 years, that was nothing. And then we brought in Tuchel, and overnight things got better. And the thing is, since obviously the whole thing is, when will Chelsea find their replacement number 9 for Diego Costa since Costa left, right? And I feel like Costa was an incredible player, but it was less so. He was not good. He wasn't as good as people hold him
Just
in terms of
squads.
Yes. I mean, his team was incredible. That front three, we had Willian, we had Pedro, we had Hazard, we had Costa, all in their primes, doing what they do best. His supporting cast was incredible.
Yeah.
He had so much help. And then on top of that, now, when we had Tuchel, he brought back in that fire. He brought back in a lot of passion. And the players he brought in were not big money signings. He brought in a 36-year-old Thiago Silva. He brought in Mendy at the time, who Mendy, not a good goalkeeper.
At the time,
But
though.
he did his
amazing.
job well and won us a Champions League, for crying out loud. He did his job. Small signing from Rennes. He had some great signings. We had Kovacic, who we brought back, and he was great. He was a very, very passionate manager. He brought out the best in his players. The fans loved him. The players would die for him. And he was just the right one for the club. And he was doing the right things.
Yeah.
And under him, now, we were terrible at scoring. We had Werner, who was one of the craziest seasons in terms of poor finishing I've ever
an
seen.
Anomaly.
Yeah, I mean, it was comedic. Every single day on social media, there's a 13-minute compilation of his misses in
I
the
miss
last
him
3
really.
weeks.
I do. I miss, there's just no clout anymore about him.
I mean, we have Darwin Nunez. But
I mean,
It was,
yeah.
it was insane. And
He had the,
but he's,
can.
but I mean, he was solid. He just couldn't score. He could pass, he could dribble, whatever. And Havertz is a bad player. I'm glad he's gone. I'm gonna leave it at that. But they did their jobs, and we still had success with them as our strike partners. Havertz and Werner were strike partners and led us to a Champions League win.
fair enough.
he got game-winning goal.
I'd argue
I mean,
that was
Won you the Champions League.
It's
A
not
nice one, George.
like our strikers we have now are not great. And Sterling again, Sterling solid, but it's not the players. We have the talent. It's just we have spineless managers. And again, Pochettino, I love him. I thought he was great at Tottenham, and he's a step in the right direction. But I feel like he was
That's
just
not
kind of like,
that's not the end game.
You don't like him right now?
no, I think he's fine, but he's a step in the right direction, but he's not what we need. I really do miss Tuchel. And as much as I want to say, we'll find someone else, I really think we should bring him back because his struggles at Munich,
Yeah.
I think Tuchel will be sacked at the end of the season by Munich.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I feel like the manager is the most important thing for Chelsea, especially with how young our squad is.
Mhm.
The right manager will be the one to lead us in the right direction, not signing 30 people in a transfer window that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah.
And then spending $400 million in a year. That's not the answer.
Yeah.
We need to find a manager that gets the best out of our players like we did with Tuchel. So yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
my-
think you're exactly right. And then it's just the first thing is like, it's just so unlucky. And like the time frame, I've never seen, you won the Champions League and like just a complete disaster 2 years later.
It's all because Tuchel is gone. And
the fact that a guy like him
that he got sacked,
and it's not, I agree. And it's not even Tuchel. It's, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of Abramovich.
Roman Abramovich.
Is it he was there for 8 years? 12?
Oh, he was long for he came in 2003 or 2004.
That was bad. No, he's there forever. And like, if the owner's gone, if the manager's gone, that's the definition of a culture change. And then you bring in Potter,
who's a spineless.
That was awful.
So
God, I forgot how many you've had. You've had like 4.
Gone through so many.
So I'm AP Stats. We're high school, right? And we did a little project.
AP Calc on top.
That's all right. And so basically I looked at Chelsea's XGs versus their total goals and like is a really unlucky. And that's the base level. But I ended up walking out of this writing like a 2-page article about how it's just the lack of leadership is what I found. Because under Potter, they would go 3 or 4 games where they would have more XGs and then they would go down like 6 or 7 in a row. And it was the same thing with Lampard. I mean, Lampard was horrendous. Lampard is quite literally unreal. But the common theme, though, is that it's soccer. Yeah, it's luck. But in the end of the day, you're going to get good runs of form and bad runs of form. And if we look at Pochettino more recently, right, all except for the recent Brentford game that y'all have, he started off the season. He's taking over this club, shaky culture, new owner. Abramovich is gone.
That's their XG. That's their XG this season.
No. Yeah. And so other than that Brentford game, their XGs is that orange line right there. Their XGs has shot up over the actual
What's the
goals.
blue? The opponent?
The blue was their XG.
The blue is their XG is the total goals.
Okay.
Sorry. It's like the fact that they aren't underperforming.
Yeah.
And other than that Brentford game, it took him 5 games to find a rhythm, right? And now they're actually locked in and now they're performing. And Nico Jackson, he got a hat trick. We don't have to talk about the details, right? But
the point is we scored. The point is we were scoring.
It's confidence, right? Mudryk, he's scoring. Confidence. I mean, like
it's all better at the moment.
Posh wasn't manager when y'all signed Mudryk. He's the manager of whenever he's scoring his first Premier League goal. He's starting consistently, and it's the leadership that hopefully is going to take you from underperforming.
Click on
versus where we're ending.
I agree. I mean, every game that you watch for us, and now granted, we have terrible games sometimes. Whatever.
Yeah, fine.
Generally, we still are creating chances. We may get dogged and maybe a 3-0 loss or a 2-0 loss, but we will be missing some chances that are so unbelievable. Or we'll be in positions of like, how did we not get anything out of being in the attacking third for like a 10-minute span and we get nothing? And it's been so common. And again, yes, do we need a great goal scorer? That would be nice. But it's not that. We're creating the chances to win games. It's just... it's something in the air. It's something in the grass. It's something in the water. And I think managers the way.
I think I have a solution to the Chelsea manager
Wow,
problem.
manager Paschall coming in. How would you transform Chelsea?
Oh,
How
no.
would you save the season?
No, I don't. You're asking the wrong guy, but I know someone who does. So you need
Coach Meadow,
backbone. You need passion. You need loyalty. You need longevity.
Nothing.
Young Kippa comes to mind when you say all of those things. Give the man a shot at the Chelsea management. Give the man a shot.
He's your best man. I think he switched up. I don't know if you saw.
No, he went on loan. He's back. He's back. He went on loan to Real. He's back. That man is more passionate about Chelsea.
He's funny as
gone through everything.
Am I living in a stimulus?
Young Kippa is one of maybe the funniest. He's been the only bright spot in the last
when
2
you
years
lose,
for Chelsea.
it's literally like that's the only thing you gotta look forward to. It's so funny.
No, it's hilarious. And his reaction after the Tottenham game, brilliant. So
he's back. He thought.
And again, also, this is why he had so much success under Mourinho. You want to talk about a manager that's no BS and will have the culture be a certain way. And if you're not the right player for it, you're not playing or you're out of the team. And just gets things done and is passionate and the fans love him. I'm just saying.
Bring him in.
Why do people think we're gonna lose the Bumble Clap?
Why do people think Man City are going to beat us?
Why are people saying that Bombessel FC will beat Chelsea? I haven't even heard of them. I'm just saying the solution is right in front of us.
Nico
It's
Jackson.
right in front of us.
Maybe bring him in as like an intern, to
he's
Pochettino.
He's so
He do the
funny,
pregame
man.
talks
Nico
so
Jackson
funny.
scoring 6 goals against City.
against City.
Yeah.
If that match comes soon,
5 of them will
Next
be
week?
disallowed.
Is it next
by
match
Anthony
week?
Taylor. It's this weekend. This upcoming match week.
Overreaction or not?
oh, that's right because
Chelsea
they have this
wins.
unbelievable stretch.
Yeah.
Overreaction. Absolutely.
Overreaction. So what was it?
Absolutely an
Chelsea
overreaction.
All right, let's
I think-
Overreaction or not? Yeah, let's
I
go
think
down.
we lose, but I do think we'll lose in an entertaining way.
So
I
it's
think-
entertaining 8-0.
No,
Y'all always
no.
lose
calm
entertaining
down.
though.
True.
I think it'll be entertaining in the sense that it'll be a 2-1 close game, a back and forth, or maybe we get 2 goals, but y'all win 4-2 or 3-2. But I think we are going to put the ball in the back of the net against you guys right now. I have a
I
feeling
mean,
we will.
everyone in the world can at the moment. To be fair,
What does that mean? Am I being
how many clean sheets do you have? That's my point.
I know.
That's exactly what we're
The
talking
flag.
about.
Literally,
That's exactly what we're
there's going to
talking
be
about.
goals from the
Ederson
back of the
is the
net.
most overrated goalkeeper.
No.
in the
I've been
last
saying this. I've been
8
saying that
years.
Ederson is an overhyped ball playing center back for the last year and a half.
No.
You
I
proved
just
me
think
wrong
that's-
against Madrid in the semifinals.
It's just the thing is just like
No,
in
you
terms
proved
of
me wrong.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
that-
you
that
need
was the
someone to
final.
make
Proved
like an
correct.
unreal save. Like it's just never him. Like he's just not a great like pure
I agree.
stop.
No, I
shot.
agree. No.
Yeah, I know.
He's the opposite of De Gea, if you will. If you will.
Okay, let's calm down.
If you will.
That is.
That's true.
I hate De Gea with my whole life. I think
That's horrible. You're never
Davis
coming
might
back on this show.
De Gea is alongside of his Derby partner, but I think they're the 2 of the most overrated goalkeepers. of the
That
last
man
decade.
could have saved
Ederson's
Apollo
overrated.
13.
My
That man could
keeper
save that
is the
game.
best in the world.
De Gea's
But-
game, 14 save game against Arsenal, was the most overrated goalkeeping performance in the history.
That's just
of
preposterous.
sport.
All right, that's his take.
Okay.
Overreaction. I'm smashing the overreaction.
What was it take? I think I missed.
No, that wasn't.
That De Gea's 14 save game against Arsenal is the most overrated performance.
Watch
by
the
a keeper.
saves.
Wait,
Is he not expected to make every single one except for maybe a foot
I mean,
save or 2? It is the
completely
most
right.
No, he's not.
Dude, this is like
the
unbelievable.
most
You don't know. Y'all remember the
People hold that in such high regard
Brendan,
because
Brendan,
of the AFTV made that game so
Brendan,
famous.
Brendan.
He could save the
Dude,
foot.
Brendan. You want to know what a great comparison is? You know how like Tim Howard had the most saves in a World Cup
Yeah.
match? It's exactly the
Tim Howard was
that's
better.
Tim Howard.
It
Tim
doesn't
Howard
take away
was a
the
be-
stage of the game.
Don't say Tim Howard's
The stage of the
better.
game.
Tim Howard's game was better. Tim Howard's game was way better.
Stop.
Those saves.
My point is, it's
The
pretty
home of
similar.
American ball knowledge.
It's like George, you know what we're talking about? George, that Tim Howard game, like when you look up like the most saves on a World Cup, you look at the highlight, like 8 of them were like in his chest.
No, they're rollers.
Well, because
They're
he came out and had
deflections.
great positioning.
yeah,
Less so than this having the ball bounced 3 times before it got to the goal and he smothered it.
He is a foot save merchant.
De Gea,
No, okay, foot saves are
in
save
his
merchant.
absolute prime, De Gea is one of the best pure shot-stopping keepers
Yeah, let's not hate
of
it.
all time.
I do
For a
hate, like,
3-game
do not
stretch before he
disrespect
makes
this
3
man.
more errors.
He's a
and then
legend. Like, why would
He's a
continues to drop
legend.
the
You
ball.
cannot
He
disrespect
is an
this man.
extremely error-prone goalkeeper.
It's okay.
And
It's
I think he is overrated.
All right, well,
Now,
that's his hit.
He's not.
to be
all
on a team for
But I've been
10
saying,
plus,
I've
like-
always said this.
He was
And you
our
can ask-
last player that was still on the Premier League championship squad.
Like the team of the year.
Yeah,
I wanted- I wanted
the-
Dean
when we
Henderson
won.
to play over him.
Prem.
I thought Dean
we
Henderson
were
was coming for his
going
job
for
in 2021,
2013.
but he didn't. So
All right, George, what is your take? And let
So-
us judge overreaction or
So
not.
are we saying that from now on, because the first episode that we had, overreaction or not, it was just to get some conversation flowing. But right now, if I say my take and you think it's an overreaction, then like my take is my take. So like if I but like okay, anyways, my overreaction or
If
not.
it's bad, it's going on Instagram.
Perfect. All right. Yes. Overreaction or not, Julian Alvarez, Premier League Team of the Year. I'll just let y'all talk and then I can respond.
no.
I don't have as much of a problem with that take as last episode, but the Alvarez glazing has to stop.
no.
Wait,
Alvarez is incredible.
Guys. No.
Alvarez
Tell you what,
before-
we can go ahead and file up. So after our last episode, his whole like delusional top 4 Ballon d'Or ranking.
He was, what,
Congratulations,
7th?
he finished 7th.
7th in the Ballon d'Or?
So he finished 7th.
Okay.
I don't
So-
think 7 was deserved. I think 10. Absolute top 10. Absolutely top 10.
So
George said top 3.
So okay.
George said he should be 3.
My claim
George said he was
that
the best player on City's
All right.
squad. He didn't start.
I never said that. All right, but
Rewind the tape.
that's why Holland would go
Rewind the
above.
tape.
So Like we ended the last episode and we said that they like to hate on greatness, which they do. All right. But the take was that if the Ballon d'Or
Who is they?
Duh.
I keep going.
All right. If the Ballon d'Or is objective, which it's not, did you guys see each country's individual like votes?
Yes,
France had
that's
Messi.
terrible.
France had Messi at number. France did not have Mbappe at number 1.
So talk about what's the subjectiveness
So
of that.
yeah, exactly.
Their own
The
style.
Ballon d'Or could be its own podcast.
Exactly.
The Ballon d'Or could be
The
its own
Ballon d'Or,
podcast.
the Ballon d'Or is the greatest player of all
purely
time.
removing all the bias from it.
No. Stop.
Yes, it is.
Stop.
Your own country.
Portugal
is not,
picked
Stop.
Bernardo
I picked in the
Silva
final.
number 1.
Your
all right?
own country
No,
ranking you at number 1.
Just stop yapping. Okay. So like the whole claim is that if it was objective, right, then he undeniably is within the top 4 conversation. But we're on to that. But just if we're looking at what he's done this year, right? I mean, assists. I mean, he may not get the most assists now that Jeremy Doku is turning into the Flash on the wing.
Been on Doku.
He has been on
Since
Doku. He's been
2020.
trying to tell me about Doku whenever the rumors came out. But just generally, right? His impact. And he's playing, and I'm so happy. Whenever he signed that extension last year, whenever he signed the extension until 2028 last year, I was like, "What are you doing? You have like the top 5 most potential of any player in Europe, and you're gonna be backing up De Bruyne. I love De Bruyne. I have like 2 posters of him in my dorm room, right? That I could go get. All right,
Get to your
I have a
point.
poster.
No one.
Keep yapping.
My point is that
no one
I am
cared.
happy how the situations have turned out. We win the treble with him. He can come on and make an impact. But now he actually has the chance with De Bruyne now. And he's there. He's making an impact. It's
Awesome.
It's so good.
It can be so great when he rides the bench when KDB
here's
comes
my
back.
here's my
It's
secondary
gonna be
overreaction.
so awesome.
Here's my second overreaction or not. And
right.
me and Reeves
2? We're just
said
doubling
this.
down?
No, we are because I'm doing this right now, okay? Overreaction or not, Alvarez so far this season, top 5 player in the Prem. Reeves could not name more than 4 players better than him yesterday. So please say 5 players better than him.
It's not fair. Because it's not fair if I
I'm
go
not
like
mad at that.
a different
I'm not mad at
position.
that.
Top 5 in the Prem this year.
Because it's
I'm
not
not
fair
mad.
if I like.
That's my main point.
you could. Just
Say
like
it.
they
Say
exceeded
it.
their position better than Alvarez is at his.
Salah, Son.
Do we just want attackers? Like, is it fair? Like, you want me? Because I'm gonna say like
What center backs have been
like
extremely
Allison?
outstanding?
Yeah, what center
is
backs have been
better?
consistent?
I'm just saying like Allison's better than Alvarez, but like that's just stupid. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. The best keeper in the
But he
world.
couldn't keep a clean sheet against Luton.
All right. We're not. All right.
No, don't not let anything we have said so far to distract you from the fact that Liverpool did not manage.
We
to
are the
beat
first Big Six to drop point to Luton Town in Prem history.
Chelsea beat
Thank you.
Luton.
Appreciate it. We
had to
beat
bring that
Man U, Newcastle, Arsenal City. We went ahead and signed our name on the. We went.
Yeah,
ahead
no,
and-
same guy that first episode said that Luton would finish with the least amount of points ever. Is now, happy that they gave them points. So
I'm not happy.
kind of misguided.
I mean, Luis Diaz
I
was
was
literally
literally-
the plot that he scored.
Great.
I mean, do you want to share with everyone?
Oh, have you all heard the recent developments on that?
They found his dad's still missing, right?
No. So the group that kidnapped him said, "Oh yeah, we'll release him. Like we're fine. We have no issues." But then they're like, "There's continuing they're continuing their paramilitary operations." So what's happening is they have them and they're fine as far as they said, but they're like, "Yeah, we'll release them after like the rest of this military stuff gets cleared up."
Jesus.
So they're not even.
It's just so insane. Like this whole.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's so sad. And it is insane that a week later
He scores.
he's not even. First of all, I don't even know how he's on the team sheet. I don't even know how he's traveling, and then he's on the bench. And then all of a sudden, when you're down, or it was still 0-0, but all of a sudden, like I making a change. I believe it was 75th minute or later. He comes on.
Yeah.
He freaking saved it. We would have lost.
Yeah.
if it wasn't
No,
for
I mean,
him.
you have to applaud that, being in that situation.
That's the definition of just the professional mentality.
That's unreal.
I applaud
Unreal.
it. I applaud it.
I mean, all
I don't
right.
applaud the fact you only got a point,
All right,
but I applaud that.
I have this take. Let me know if there's an overreaction or not.
Okay.
And you have to
join
let me
You join in.
defend myself. Tottenham will not finish top 4 at the end of this season.
Let's go ahead. All right, just say yes or no to
Overreaction
that. Brendan.
or not?
Overreaction or not?
overreaction.
Overreaction.
Not.
Okay, all right. Well, here's my reasoning. Tottenham currently are second, third? I think they're second right now.
Third.
Yeah.
Third. I don't know. Pull the
Yeah, I'll go up
Second.
next. I'll go next.
second.
Like,
All right. 26 points. So people are acting like that's
And they're a game
crazy
back.
take. Oh, hang on. Let me finish.
they're not.
So first of all,
November, like-
it's Tottenham. we know that they cannot be trusted, even when they look amazing, they can't be trusted.
Man.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Second, it's November. It is still early. There is so much time left in the season.
All right.
Third, I mean, injuries, transfers, falling out of form. They're in form right now. They're playing good. Right now, they're playing a top 4 team. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying they can't continue this the entire season. So that's my take. Tottenham not finishing top 5.
I want to go next because y'all are acting like if they get 5th, like, okay, y'all are saying overreaction to them not finishing top 4. Like, first of all, it's November. Like, if they get 5th, that's still going to be a good year. Okay. Y'all are acting like it's insane that they can fall from 3rd to 5th in 6 more months of play, in 30 more games.
So, So I understand completely. I understand it's early,
what?
But they are a point back from the most stable team in Europe, Manchester
in November.
City. Okay. I understand.
And they're also
everyone is 2 or 3 points.
Yeah, they're only 3 points from being fifth.
They lose 4 straight match days. Like all of a sudden they're in 6.
Of course.
Like what's your
like Liverpool ties every team like they tie Luton there in the conference.
So just how is it an overreaction to just be like, hey, I don't think they're gonna stay what they're doing.
I have a question. Is your overreaction or not? Was it influenced by the result against Chelsea and their performance?
I think that Tottenham outperformed Chelsea.
Because I think that game against Chelsea. And the balls of steel that Ange has to play a high line and to play those tactics.
And there's nothing wrong with that. They lost that game because you know what they shouldn't have.
Brendan, how long was that game competitive? All 90.
Yeah, and I agree. That game showed that's
a good team.
I would be happy. I would not be disappointed if I was a Tottenham fan. Obviously, I'm disappointed more so with the refereeing and stupidity of the red cards, more so than the actual performance of my team. So I mean, was not
overreaction.
Was not a bad loss. As bad as it's being made to see.
I can't wait till May, George, when they finish.
When they finish 5th.
It's not.
I do have a lot on the line. So I'm really rooting against
Tottenham.
Tottenham.
Last point.
So if I made a deal, unfortunately, at the beginning of the season that if Tottenham win the Premier League, I have to enlist in the United States Marines.
The greatest bet in the history.
This could be the greatest plus 900 hit of all time.
And I'm not really sure what I have to gain from this. All I know is that if I lose, I am enlisting in the Marine Corps and I'm being shipped off to Kuwait. And I'm just going to...
The Harry Kane effect, though? What are we going to say about Harry Kane?
Oh, my gosh.
But it
top contender
we'll save that for next week.
Yeah,
I like that.
Alrighty.
I like that. Good episode today, boys.
Okay. That was awesome. Brendan, thank you so much, dude.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, dog.
Thank you for bringing that point of view.
Yep, loved it.
Appreciate it, dog. Appreciate it.
Everyone, all right. Do a thumbs up for the clickbait. Love it.
Right.
See y'all next time.
Dan James.
Peace. Adios.